Sorry, apologies for the previous one. And thank you for the opportunity of express. Yeah. What I wanted to say is clearly standardization is a special activity of collaboration between competitors. And then you can say, okay, should be there competition between the different standardization organizations as well? And in the particular case of complex technologies, which are aiming at systems for global markets where interoperability is key, it's clear that cooperation rather than competition between the standardization organization is the logical way, because otherwise we may face a situation with fragmented solution and fragmented markets at the end of the day. And I think clearly this is why 3GPP was born, with cooperation between different SDOs such as ETSI, TTA, ARIF, ATIS, TSDSI from the different regions, name them. And it was well. We have seen, we have finally global standards in mobile communication. In addition, in these advanced technology topics like mobile connectivity networks, but also others like internet, which rely on hardcore work from skilled experts, and you need a lot of investment for researcher and output from research and innovation from industry, academia, plus public administration, consumers, we have a scarcity of resources. So if they need to go to attend the meetings on working items with similar topics from different standardization organizations, it may be difficult to follow, and again may lead to fragmentation of both the standards and later the market, which may produce undesirable effects. So, but there may be dimension in complex ecosystem where there can be some competition, like between the different standardization organizations. And I like in particular Dr. Chung, how he explained when he presented the extended 3GPP ecosystem, the different dimensions related to mobile connectivity. And this is where should, in our opinion, look how different SDOs, where the different expertise lies, can cooperate together rather than compete in the field of expertise toward this common global approach. So as summary, we believe cooperation is key. And Stefan was asking me, we have included in the EU strategy on standardization that we adopted last week an important stream looking at global standardization, where we include proposals for international cooperations toward global standards in protecting action. And in particular, and I come to what both my colleague Bernard Barani and also Professor Lee have mentioned, we should start with a common vision on what would be 6G to pave the way. Thank you, Xavier, and apologies for the technical problems.
Thank you, Emilio. I think you raised a very interesting question. I mean, considering the time pressure and the scarcity of resources, can we afford to compete? Or it's always interesting to ask the question this way. So I'm turning now very quickly to our speakers, Arman, Professor Lee, Dario, Dr. Park. We have seen that all the building blocks we are working on and all the ideas we're exploring are, as we say, building blocks, and they need to be assembled at some point. And maybe very quickly, can you tell us which related, let's say, technologies or which challenges you see in making sure that these blocks fit together? So, for example, many of you mentioned AI. Is it a challenge to make sure that the intelligent part of RAS, for example, is driven by AI systems or things like this? Maybe I would ask for your views. Can I ask with you, Arman, if you're still with us?
Yeah, thank you, Xavier. That's a very good and difficult question, so I'll try to give a brief view just from my side. I think there is clear need for that bridging between research into standards and pre-standards activities. I think is very important here. Yeah, I mean, for ensuring that these technology blocks would work together well going forward, there's a lot that needs to be done in the pre-standards phase of these technology areas, and we need to ensure the synergies across the technology areas are adequately studied and addressed in pre-standards phase before we entered the standards phase. So that's one potential way of addressing the challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Armin. I think it's indeed important to insist on basically digging in the vertical, let's say, silo of the actual technology, and then also making sure we look across technologies. Thank you. Very quickly, Dr. Lee, or Professor Lee, sorry.
Thank you, Xavier, for your question. I have a slight different angle on the assembly of building blocks, not in technology, because in Korea and EU have some kind of the complementary architecture in industry. For example, in Korea, we have strengths in mobile terminal or device like memory, display, etc. However, in Europe, we have strengths in infrastructure, business or particular service integration, and industry academic collaboration. So I think if we combine some kind of building blocks from the two reasons, then we can make a bigger and stronger ecosystem. So that is my view in high level. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I invite Dario to give a few words on this topic?
Yeah, sure. Indeed, thank you, Xavier. This was thinking myself as well. What we can say from the MEC point of view, we are trying to lead this standard with a very careful alignment with the other standard bodies. I can give you the example what we are doing carefully with 3GPP, because of course it's quite important for us to avoid duplication of work in the edge computing infrastructure when it comes to standardizing something in terms of building blocks, and having also in mind future-proof work of our standard. So it's important now, especially in the framework of 5G networks, to align the ETSIMEC standard with 3GPP edge up from release 17 and also release 18. This will pave the way also for future standards. And this is for us is our key building block, because of course we want to avoid market fragmentation, having a single standard harmonized, keeping also the diverse, let's say, scope of the different standard bodies, which are, by the way, also, let's say, a matter of fact. We want to provide a clear message to the industry that, of course, the standards should be aligned in that perspective to avoid the duplication and market fragmentation. And in that perspective, we are trying also now to stimulate with the companies in ISG MEC a view of shaping the strategy of MEC towards 6G by inviting also, let's say, stakeholders and projects from outside of the group, and also by collaborating also with other organizations. And I believe this is our first aim as a standard body. Of course, in our ecosystem, as I showed before in my presentation, there are also academic partners, industrial partners, small companies. As a ISG, we are trying to attract as well the small companies. They don't need to be ETSI members, and then they can join with the lower cost and lower effort and contribute as well to the standardization work. And these are at least the tools that we are trying to provide to facilitate the evolution of this standard.
Thank you very much, Dario, for this. Can I invite Mr. Park to say a few words as well?
Yes, I want to comment very shortly. There are so many important comments that were previously mentioned in the previous speakers, and I want to emphasizing the importance of the vertical technology combination with the 5G advanced and 6G technologies. The 5G was started to apply to the various kind of industries, but the deployment is very slowly. So we have to show the successful deployment of a combination of the 5G technology with the various kind of industry technologies to provide a single services to the industry. So that can be a prerequisite for the success of the next generation of 5G and 6G. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's very important what you mentioned, that the relevance of these technologies to verticals is critical. Thank you very much to all for this. It was very short, but we, in ETSI and TTA will keep connecting the experts to nurture, let's say, the technical exchange. With this, I think I will hand back to Tony for the conclusion session. Thank you.